Hi, I'm the Dutch birder, and 2025 is my 17th year of birding. This year, I'm on a quest to document at least 250 different bird species. Join me on my quest through wetlands and forest of the small European country called the Netherlands. My first stop is a private garden which hosts the Siberian whitethroat, and luckily, the people who live here have no problem whatsoever with birders standing on their property to look for the bird, so that is awesome. One of the most common garden species, the great tit, was of course present as well. It's actually a bit of a shame that this species is so common, as its beauty is not always fully appreciated. The friendly cousin of the great tit, the blue tit, was also present in large numbers. The birds made good use of the abundance of food available in the garden. I think I heard it. Yeah, there it is. When I bought my new camera with bird eye detection, I had hoped that it would also flawlessly focus on a bird in a bush. Unfortunately, it turns out that the bird needs to be quite a bit larger in the frame. Otherwise, the camera focuses on the foreground branches and you have to assist it with manual focus. Lesser whitethroats can generally be recognized by their brown back, bluish-grey cap and white throat, from which their English name is derived. I've changed positions now and I've seen the bird 3 times already, but it keeps getting obscured by branches, so I hope from here I get a clear look at it and get some great shots. Further back in the garden, more feeders were hanging, attracting many house sparrows as well as more grey tits and blue tits foraging on the food. This beautiful black male blackbird also enjoyed a small tray of food. So cool, all these birds here in the garden. It's a lot of food for the birds. There's also a bird bath, so they have a great time here, me included. At one point, the bird landed in a nearby tree, giving it a good vantage point over the tree containing its favorite fat ball. The lesser whitethroat sat still nicely, but getting a clear shot proved very difficult. There was always a branch in the way from every angle. Suddenly, I lost sight of the bird. It had flown into the feeder house, which was entirely in the shade, forcing me to use a high ISO setting to capture the bird on film. It soon took off again, and I had to wait for its next visit. The whitethroat is constantly chasing away all the grey and blue tits. So those tits are not so happy that it is here. A few minutes later, it perched nearby again, and I was finally able to record a relatively long video where the bird was clearly visible. That's great, because such footage is very useful for my rarity updates. The differences between the European and Eastern taxa are very subtle. Indicative features include the extensive brown on the nape and hind neck. Additionally, the Eastern taxa tend to have more white markings on the outer tail feathers. Since these characteristics overlap, certainty can only be obtained through DNA analysis. I see most of the tits and the house sparrows in the back of the garden, but the whitethroat seems to be only around in the front of the garden, so that's helpful when searching for the bird, so it's easily found. Every 5 or 10 minutes I see it doing a round here, so it shouldn't take up too much time to find the bird if you want to visit it yourself. I've decided I have enough shots of this bird. Let's move on to the snow goose. I've almost arrived at my next location, the snow goose, but the problem is the spot where it has been reported is behind a holiday park, so I have to look where I can park the car and where I have to walk to find this bird. The snow goose has two forms. Here you can see the more common white form. This species has black wingtips, which makes it easy to rule out a domestic white goose. Compared to the even rarer Ross's goose, this species has a longer, sturdier bill, and the snow goose lacks the blue warty structures at the base of the bill. Snow geese from eastern Canada are on average about 20% larger than those from the west, but it remains unclear whether they constitute two genetically distinct subspecies. I found a spot to park the car. I'm now walking across the holiday park. Decided not to take my tripod with me, but just to take a quick look and see if the goose is there. I have found a white goose at the spot it was last reported, but that is a domestic goose, so not the snow goose sadly. I also see another white bird here, but it is a mute swan, so no luck yet. I have found the snow goose, but there is just one problem. It is sitting in a ditch with its head down, so you can't actually see it's a snow goose. I saw its head, but when I started filming, I can only see its back. So now I'm hoping it will walk out of the ditch again, so I can get some shots from which it is identifiable. After taking a considerable detour, I finally got a good look at the bird. For unringed snow geese, their origin is unknown. In the 1980s, a proven American origin snow goose was observed in the Netherlands. We know this because the bird wore a scientific ring that had been placed on it in America. There is also a free living population of several dozen snow geese in Germany. These birds are generally ringed, but it is not unthinkable that one of the young birds went unnoticed. Additionally, the snow goose is a commonly kept species that frequently escapes, which we can identify by the typical close collar rings these birds wear. For my year list, I am counting this ringed bird in any case.